Hey guys, my name is High and Rich, and it was just last night when I discovered Arcade's and Edwan's video of the 10 sounds challenge, and I thought, why not trying? I know it's a little bit old, it's from 2017, but it doesn't make me hesitate to try it out. So I sat down this night from like 3 AM to 6 AM and tried to make something with these sounds. I will show you the 10 samples the both guys selected, and you're not allowed to use any third-party plugins like VST plugins. You're allowed to use effects plugins and like samplers and modulation and stuff. Those are the rules. I will show you the samples right now. The first one is a goat. That's the second sample. It's like a kick drum, some bass kind of sound, some vocal downlifters, a pre-drop vocal. To be honest, this is the most useful sound of all the samples. I will show you afterwards. A pluck. And all the samples have different keys and tempos. I worked a lot on it to fix it, but it worked. So these are the samples. I will play the track once and then I will show every sample and every channel and effects I used. And yeah, let's just have a listen. So yeah, the rest of this is just copy paste. I'm totally honest with you. Technically I made like a total song with intro and outro, so like it's like the outro, the intro, and yeah, it's not bad for like 3 hours. Now we will have a look at every channel processing and everything. Pretty basic, also the mastering. So yeah, let's just go ahead and look at the very first channel, which is a kick drum. I cued it a bit, so it has a certain frequency which fits more the track. The second track are the pre-drop vocals. I have a lower layer to give it more depth, a normal layer. I pitched it up a little bit. The original pitch was this. And I added a vocoder. As you can see, only the ODT plugin, a certain reverbs, that's it. This vocoder is triggered by these chords, which is basically a sample which was in the packs. It was that kind of saw wave, and I put some flangers and phasers on it just to give it more stereo movement. Then I linked the vocals to the chords with the vocoder to get that. Also, I used this vocal downlifter as kind of a crash. I added some delays, mid-side EQing to give it more tone, so it acts like a tonal crash almost. The next sound was that bassy sound. This one was pretty useful. I just cut out a certain part of it, so it had a shorter tail, put a filter on it, so it has wop characteristics, some distortion, some ODT, and also sidechain compression. Also, this goat sample, I only use it as a transitional element before the drop, like a riser or something. And the next samples were the arcade samples. I cut it out a lot from the drum loop. It was this one. And this one was a snare. Give it a little bit of tone with a flanger. The classic processing for my claps. The next sample was also something from the drum loop. Stretch it out pretty long. I warped a lot too, so it fits more the arrangement and the track itself. I took the same sample, added a EQ, more like a lo-fi kind of hi-hat. The bass was also pretty simple, also included in the sample packs. A lot of pitch bend modulation just to give it more movement. This is basically the same sound. I just shortened it up a lot and added more reverb and dimension to it. This is also one of my signature sounds. Pretty easy. I think you can make a lot with a saw wave. I use a lot of overdrive flangers to get that sound. Now we come to the main lead sounds, which is again the saw wave sample. A lot of reverb automations for the build-ups and the drop. A lot of delay automations. Automate the left and the right channel independently. And I duplicated this layer to give it more harmonics. I used this vocal chop, like a wobble pad. I took the sample and I looped it within the sampler. Some autopan, reverb, ODT again. That's it, basically. The guitar, I also used it. I chopped it up a little bit, applied some pitch modulation to give it more vibes, quite subtle. The next sample was again something from the drum loop. It was a hi-hat. I think I stretched it out pretty long, faded it out. I thought of it like 4/4 clap. Then I took the other snare, applied some reverb to make it a bigger clap, and again some samples from the drum loop. I took the main kick of the drum loop and I filtered it a lot of reverb, controlled it at the same time. Comes very often in the build-up to give it more impact. And I also created a reversed ride out of a drum loop. The samples within this loop were pretty short, so I had to work a lot on the sounds themselves. The main melody of the break, which is the synth plug which was included, filter envelopes, filtering, and a lot of reverb as well. The dimension expander from Xfer, the OTT, the only like third-party effect plugins. This one is the same layer, duplicated with some delay modulation. I wanted to have a snare which had more body, so I took some samples of the drum loop again, EQ'd it pretty extremely, frequency shifter to pitch it up. Without the effects it sounds like this. Makes a huge difference. I wanted to give the snare a bit more punch. I took the transient of the kick drum in the drum loop, added it to the snare, added the same effects. The last layer would be the vocoder layer, which I already showed before. The things on the mask are auto filter, gain automation, OTT, saturation, EQing, some mid-side EQing, simple limiting, and that's basically it. So if you're interested to do this challenge as well, I can put the samples and the rules in the description. The challenge would be more interesting if you would make a track just with Audacity, tone generators and VST plugins you may have, like effects. That would be interesting. I hope you liked it, and my name is Hein Rich.